button, Spencer, and then go live when that appears.
Okay, so yeah, we can start the countdown now, please. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 89. Today is May 24, 2021. Thanks for joining us live here on Discord and YouTube. Please be aware that this call is being recorded and will also be available for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to ask your questions on Menti while this call is happening so the team can answer your questions at the end. Let's kick it off right away with the first update from the engineering department. I'll welcome now Alberto.
Hi, thank you, Angie. Okay, so as usual, let's start from Zendo, but let me say that we finished the implementation of the last remaining item, the proof verifier. So regarding Zendo, what is missing is just this final code review that already has been started, but the items to be developed are all finished. Now we are proceeding with the integration phase, so finishing the unit tests and so on, and aligning them with the last changes. But let me say the most of changes in the Zendo code base are finished. So that's a great news. Okay, another very important news is that we also started the audit activities regarding Zendo. So there is a third-party company that is already started looking at the code, and this process will go on for the next weeks. I mean, even months, and then we will have a full audit of the code for being able to go on testnet and then in mainnet. Okay, now let's switch to the proving system. Also there, we made great progress last week with regards to the proving system white paper, and we finalized for a first draft of it and started reviewing also the paper. So we hope to have this paper ready for publication soon, and of course we will keep you updated about it. And also the proving system will be audited, and this audit process is about to start, and we will keep you updated also about this topic. Okay, last topic is related to blockchain UA, because last week, as we mentioned in the previous call, we attended the blockchain UA conference in Kiev, Ukraine. We did a presentation together with Professor Roman Olitnikov about the Latus approach to handle data availability attacks on recursive ZK SNARKs based sidechains. And it was great to be there. A lot of technical questions arose, and the presentation is now available also on YouTube in case you are interested in the topic. And moreover, this gave us the opportunity to meet several team members in Ukraine, and I mean, some of them for the first time. And we spent some time together to work on integration tasks related to the release. So, probably all for today. Back to you, Angie.
Awesome. Great updates. And thank you so much, Alberto. Let's continue now with Lucy for the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Alberto just presented on the Blockchain UA conference with our partner IOHK last week. The topic is Lattice approach to handle data availability attack on the recursive ZK SNARK-based sidechains. The presentation is available on YouTube. If you are interested in learning more about the technical side of our Lattice implementation on sidechains, please check it out. And you will find the link on our social media feed. And we are just really busy with multiple events in the coming weeks. This Thursday, our Chinese community manager, Guan Ying, will be speaking at a conference called The Convergence of Blockchain Ecosystem, hosted by Cointelegraph. The event is in Hangzhou. So if you are in and around the area, please come and meet us. And also in Hangzhou, in May 30th, the same weekend, is the start of our roadshow, Horizon Roadshow in China. And May 30th is also our 4th anniversary. So the event will be a celebration party for the special occasion. So, you're definitely invited. If you can come, please do. And the something about the Horizon Roadshow. It's going to be a series of events. We will host 6 events in a span of 3 months in China, and we'll be visiting major cities in China. So if you are in China, we keep an eye out on our social media feed, and please come and visit if you can. And then also in June 2nd, Spencer will be attending the blockchain event in Miami. If you are in the area, come and meet Spencer at the conference. So other than that, we're just working on the background on some really, really exciting partnerships. So nothing that I can review, unfortunately, right now. So keep an eye out on our social media feed, and there's some exciting partnerships news coming out very, very soon. And other than that, I think Erica has some updates for us about the ambassador program. Erica?
Hey everyone, happy Monday. So this last week, we focused pretty heavily on processing the applications to the ambassador program. We have a pretty large backlog right now, but we are catching up. So if you haven't heard back, please be patient. I should be hopefully processing your application sometime this week. Over the weekend, we saw almost double the amount of daily tasks completed over the previous weeks on Discord. As of now, we have had over 900 tasks completed since the beginning of the project rolled out last month. And we've given about 2.5 Zen out for daily task completions. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to our newest ambassador, Lorena, who runs an online community of crypto lovers. We're super excited to have you and get you onboarded. And that's my update for the week. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Erica. That's it from from our marketing division. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you so much, girls. Let's continue with Rosario for product and engineering.
Hey Angie, happy Monday, everyone. Over the weekend, had opportunity to spend time with Zane. And Zane, if you don't recall, he is the Horizon Labs newest VP of engineer. So he's recently joined our team, and it was a great time to spend time and start the process of building refining the strategy and just having a strategy that's more focused on delivery. So it was a good time to get acquainted with Zane over the weekend. Just some extraneous things. Alberto mentioned the code audits, which are a huge milestone for us as a project that we are at this phase of the game. We will be finalizing this week, actually, the contract with the cryptographic auditor that will be doing the cryptographic elements. Hopefully today or tomorrow. So that should be ongoing, and we'll be able to announce who that company is in our next session. Some also miscellaneous, we have a coin payments integration that we will be starting to look at. So we are integrated with coin payments, but they're going through an upgrade of their system in C#. So we are going to start taking a look at that. From a Horizon Labs perspective, I would encourage you to check out horizonlabs.io. It's the website, and it was just updated to better reflect what Horizon Labs is doing in conjunction with Horizen. So we have the Celsius, just to update that the project. We are building an audit blockchain for Celsius. And we are working with the Celsius team in conjunction. So we have weekly sessions and we work as an integrated project team. The Celsius developer completed the script that will broadcast transactions to our sidechain. And that is one of the last steps for us to complete the first milestone. And Luigi, from a DevOps perspective, made it super easy for customers to launch a sidechain node. And it seemed like a 2-click node setup. So it was in very, very short time. So just very happy that our customers will have a seamless experience just launching nodes from that perspective. So this week we have a meeting with the Celsius leadership team where we will perform a technical walkthrough of the project. So we have, we'll take them through the transactions that are being broadcasted to the sidechains, performing the proof of those, the sum transactions, and also displaying the back end of the Explorer that will bring it all together. We have some mock-ups that we will also present from a marketing perspective just to update the Celsius website. And that will be something that we are looking forward to doing. From a game chain perspective, we are still monitoring the game developers' progress. And from our end, we are planning on integrating the Docker, integrating the Sidechain Explorer into Docker next week and working through those kinks along the ways. And that is it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosario. Rolf, would you like to add any comments or updates today?
Yeah, we had a board meeting last week of the foundation, the ZBF board, and it was great. Rob presented as the foundation team lead all the different things that was going on, and the foundation primarily focuses on the Horizen project and the protocol, and then contracts with Horizen Labs and IOHK and InfoPulse and other organizations to have development and marketing done. And of course, the foundation directly employs people as well. But with the upcoming sidechain implementation, which of course is one of the really big protocol things that the foundation focuses on, is going to be implementing sidechain applications. So that's the next focus after implementing the sidechain on the main chain. And I know I've talked about this a lot, but we had a chance to re-verify that that's still our main focus as the foundation. So the governance and then infrastructure tracking and payment. And right now, infrastructure is primarily nodes. But that will probably change as we implement side chains and we have side chains running block forgers and things like that. And that we're going to be able to encourage and support open source development. Obviously, the amount of funds has gone up that the foundation gets monthly. And so as we all see with volatility, the price of Zen goes up and goes down, but even with the volatility, having conservative financial goals is a great thing to do, and we have the ability going forward to put money where we want things done. So that means hiring people to encourage open source development on certainly different sidechain applications and all sorts of different things. So it was a very positive foundation board meeting, and that was a good thing that we did last week. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Rolf. Now let's welcome Rob for the final part and Q&A session.
Hello, everyone. Let's see. So, yeah, first note I had was actually exactly what Rolf just said on last week's board meeting went really well. Having these regularly, we do them quarterly, is a really important part of our community governance. So we do have just some fantastic talent on that board, and I want this to be a little bit more transparent to everyone here in the ecosystem. That we do proper governance, and just the kind of collection of talent that we have there, I think needs to be better understood. So what we're going to be doing, just an idea, what I'd like to do is put together a blog post and maybe a website update in the near future, just publicizing the ZBF governance team, basically the board of directors. So you get to know who's on it. We did just elect a new member of the board who will be formally announcing next week. He'll be joining us for the Weekly Insider, give you some of his background, but he's definitely an OG in the crypto industry, so we could not be more excited to get him involved. What I'd like to do, because we do have this collection of talent on the board, is to see some discrete tasks that we can have the board just lead from like a high level strategy perspective on things like a path to decentralization for the ecosystem, just thinking through coherently at a very high level, because sometimes we get very much into the weeds, like on these weekly insiders and the daily grind of kind of our workflow every week. It would be nice to have just a senior kind of governing board like that think through these deeper issues, like how do we coordinate, like how do we roll out Treasury DAO? We've been talking about it for years. The technology's just about there. We still need to get Zendo to mainnet. We need to get Lattice implemented so that we can have a secure system. But like, how do we actually roll out and implement a Treasury voting system, right? What does that mean for the ecosystem? How do we do this in a safe and secure way? How do we even think through like optimizing different things to go through it? We need to make use of period of ZenIPs. We know that. How does HCC play into everything? How do we scale up HDE? There's a whole bunch of things here, kind of ingredients that I think having a group that doesn't sit through the daily grind, just think a little bit deeper about could be really useful. Another thing I was thinking was we are in a very, very volatile industry, as everyone who was tracking crypto prices last week and this weekend can attest. So how do we think through like strategic risk management as an ecosystem, let alone an organization? So this is something that I'm very interested in having the board investigate. So let's see, Alberto mentioned the Zendo process of where we are in the process here, and we're in the integration testing phase of our delivery. So just really happy to reiterate the fact that we have started the first audit, or at least handed off the code base to the first auditor. We're going to have 2 auditors in this process for this delivery. The second one, like Rosario said, we will be announcing hopefully as early as next week, and that work we're targeting commencing 1 June with them on a very niche cryptographic piece of what's being delivered. And then in the meantime, Horizen Labs is continuing to drive forward on development for the Lattice implementation. So we don't stop, we just continue grinding through the different things that we have on our roadmap. So more to come on that, but honestly huge for the ecosystem. The wheels are in motion for HCC, the Horizen Community Council. Thank you to Spencer, Nate, and all the guys that, active community members who are driving that forward. Thank you to Erica helping out from the foundation side. Thank you to Liat joining the fund from the lab side. You can see here, this is an ecosystem thing. And so I'm calling it our version of a multilateral effort where we have the different ecosystem players coming together here to basically endow the ecosystem with another independent organization, an entity that can aggregate community sentiment, so we really have a better idea of what the community wants. This goes towards also engaging the community. If people know that their preferences, their feedback, things that they care about are actually being listened to and factored into what we do, this just makes for a much healthier and more engaged ecosystem, period. So really happy that that's moving, more forthcoming. Now, this is, I alluded to it last week. It is a really big deal if we can get it off the ground. So I'm not going to go into too many details because we haven't done kind of a formal PR yet, and we haven't had agreements signed. But what I can tell you, the intent for the foundation is to consider structuring a structure that brings in venture capitalists, VCs, into the ecosystem. Of course, we have VCs in the ecosystem in the sense that Horizen Labs is a VC-backed company. But what I mean here is that other projects, our competitors out there, have 2 types of programs in general for how they fund people that are building in their ecosystem. Basically, how they fund ecosystem growth. They have, typically like a foundation, like we do, or some sort of public funding mechanism through like a grant program. Okay, check for us. We have HDE and beta, and we're going to be scaling this up. We've been talking about that. That's a pure grant program. But then also, how do we kind of encourage or incentivize other independent players, VCs in this sense, whose job is to screen entrepreneurs and ideas and actually invest their own capital. So this is something that we're exploring, is how can we incentivize VCs to come in to the ecosystem, basically so we have other independent players who, at least in some coordinated way, can be part of some coordinated program where they still maintain completely their independence. They maintain their, screening and professional screening capabilities. So they bring that talent to the table. They bring their own capital to the table. But we have, via an introduction from the foundation, so that they can at least have kind of like a common path to come in, and we can maybe channel ideas and founders and entrepreneurs that want to build in the ecosystem. You at least now have a defined path for how to go and seek this type of funding beyond just a grant program, actually getting people to invest in equity capital to drive growth of their businesses. Now, our competitors also have, some of them, the really important ones, have coalitions of VCs, or they have like their own fund, for instance, that makes these types of bets. But rather than having our own fund, and this is really big hat tip to Dean on this one for thinking through the idea, how do we use our resources and just be a little bit more clever about it so that we can kind of facilitate others to come in and do what they do best and not have like a centralized choke point. So anyway, more forthcoming on that, but it is a really big idea that if we get it off the ground, could be really like a huge growth engine for the ecosystem. Final note, I just wanted to talk about this crypto volatility. You guys who have been around for years have heard me talk probably too much about crypto volatility. It is the reality of the world that we live in, and in the last couple of weeks, we have seen a lot of volatility for our project, for the industry. Now, our project has weathered the volatility, I would say, really fantastically. And the metric for that is we have jumped in the coin market cap rankings. If you just look at the relative valuations of different projects in the industry, we have jumped quite a bit. So we're at something like rank 74 right now, and we were closer like in the low 80s previously. So during this big market shakeup, we have been steadily growing in importance as a project in this ecosystem. And I think this is just a start. And this is not a statement on valuations. This is a statement on our relative rankings to our competitors, to just the broader industry. So I'm really happy just with our relative performance. But this is not our first rodeo. And by that, I mean, this project has been around for a while, coming up to 4 years now as a project. And those of us who are managing this project have been around for much longer than that in this industry. So we know the deal. We know the market cycles. We know that we're trying to make decisions under extreme uncertainty and extreme volatility. Our job is not to make strong predictions on market direction. I don't do that. I probably learned enough about finance not to make those types of strong predictions. The point is to make sure that no matter what happens to the market, we succeed as an ecosystem. Right? So that's our number one goal. Environments can change on a dime, like they have in the past, and I'm sure they will in the future. And obviously, some environments are better than others, but we know the drill, and we have the tools to be able to weather these types of storms. So what are we doing? Just the foundation, and there's an ecosystem here. The foundation. You've got labs, you've got pipeline, and you've got other independent actors in the ecosystem. Financial partners like DCG and so forth. Different elements of the ecosystem manage their own finances differently. The foundation, right? Well, the foundation has been extremely conservative, and we don't want to be overly conservative, but because we were just coming out of a big bear market, the first thing we did was pay down debts immediately. And then we got to work immediately, like in parallel, with building reserves. So this was a really important point, and I mentioned it, I think, last week as well. We have been building reserves. We do OTC cash trades every week, just so that we can build up a little bit more of our reserves incrementally. Every week we want to build more reserves. And we've been stashing it away for just such a rainy day. We do have other financial partners that we're working with, potentially to even consider launching like a Zen options market privately in the OTC realm with one of our partners, so that the foundation in particular, but also other ecosystem players, and other people that can work with the OTC entity could do better like hedging operations, cash management operations. Right, the foundation does have bills, it has cash flows. Cash flows in and cash flows out every single week or month. Right, so we need to make sure that we're actually managing that appropriately, so that we can reduce the risk of the volatility. So there's a lot going on there. Just want you guys to know that, or at least have some confidence that we are not planning on, we just don't operate in kind of a vacuum of excitement all the time just because the markets have been going up. We've been prepping for a rainy day, and we're going to keep doing that. All right. So we are growing pretty aggressively, so we don't want to be too conservative. And we've been talking about a lot of things we're doing, everything from the technology development side and getting our main technology to the market, also hiring aggressively, between the different organizations, like the foundation's hiring, labs is hiring, and so forth. And we're launching these different initiatives. We know we need capital, so we're trying to be, toe that line of, say, quote, optimal planning, but that optimal planning involves a mix of being conservative with also making very targeted bets on how we expand. Anyway, so I'll stop there, and we can open it up to questions. I know it's depending on how closely you watch the market, different people can have different concerns of what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob, for the updates. And thank you as well for everyone that contributed with their questions. The first one is, what is the timeline regarding the testnet release of Zendo considering the audits? When do you plan to release it?
Yeah, so I'll speak generally here. We're targeting the end of Q3. So we'll have more defined dates as we go. The reason why we're not being a little bit more specific is just because we are dependent on these third parties to deliver, and in that sense, anything can happen. So, and also there is variability in what kinds of findings we might have out of the audit and how much work it might take to burn through those findings. So anyway, at this point, we're just saying end of Q3, and we'll update you guys as we learn more.
Thank you. The next one is a little bit related to what you were already talking about, Rob, but if you would like to complement, it says, how do you approach volatility with your budget? Do you keep our budget insane, or do you have fiat, Bitcoin, etc.?
Now we do a mix. And again, we do have multiple organizations within the ecosystem. So I'll say specifically from the foundation's perspective, we hold US dollar, stablecoins, and some like limited, very small amount of other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. And then we also have a Zen reserve, right? So you just keep in mind, we get every block that's mined, there's a 20% allocation of that block reward to the treasury. So this is a near continuous process. So we know that we're going to have Zen, going forward. So that's why we do this emphasis on like weekly OTCs so that we can get US dollar reserves. So that's basically how we manage it.
Okay, the third and final question says, with the recent Zen price correction, did any partnership got busted or got canceled?
Nope, not at all. So very fortunate for us. I think we're still in this as a project, really big like inflection point of growth. And none of our partners have backed out on us at this point. But again, guys, the volatility has only been going on for 2 weeks. So I don't want to make strong predictions, but as of now, everything's looking really good.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for contributing with your questions. And I guess this is it. Thanks for joining us again. And we'll see you all next Monday for the latest Horizen updates. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.